mm, very recently found ourselves in, responding to the need of providing HR services and management support to small businesses. So I think that was kind of a natural progression, to provide human resources and consulting to small businesses. So we have provided a great deal of government management support on government contracting and HR consulting in general.
Okay. And why should people call on your business, Deborah Keller?
Well, because we are reliable, and I have a client here. Maybe he could answer that question better than I can. Kambos Mohammed, why should people call on Keller Professional Services? Can you answer that question for me? Because I'm not very good at answering that for myself.
Unmute. You're muted. Unmute your microphone.
You got to unmute your microphone.
Gotcha. Thank you. Greetings to all, first of all.
Teos, how are you, sir? It's been a minute. Haven't seen you.
Yes, sir. It has been quite a while. Good to see you as well.
Welcome back. May peace be unto you. Happy New Year, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. May the peace and blessings of the Most High and the ancestors be with us all.
You've been a serial entrepreneur, shucks, I would say since I met you in the mid-90s.
That is correct.
25 years at least. How long you been in business, Teos?
Well, it's Muhammad, but it's I'd say close to 30 years. Okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, tell us about Freedom Paper Company.
All right. I'm gonna give Miss Deborah her kudos real quick.
Wise man.
She is quite wonderful at the services she provides. She has done quite a bit for Freedom Paper Company and helping us to get qualified people. And one of the things we're doing with Freedom Paper Company is we're empowering the community, hiring people that, society in many cases says cannot be hired or the unhireable. So she has been very diligent in that. And she and I have been working together really about almost a year. We worked on a couple of major projects as well. So this particular business, as you said, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've done quite a few things. But in 2011, we started what is called Freedom Paper Company. When we looked around after the Great Recession, we noted a number of things. I was greatly affected there. I was in real estate myself. And so what happened after the Million Man March and the anniversary of the Million Man March, the Million Moors movement, we came together and began sort of a think tank. And business people know, and it's commonly said, that we need more businesses, right? We need more businesses. Okay, well, that's very true. But we wanted to look a little deeper into the scenario, so we began to look at what the economic status or condition of people of African descent anywhere on the planet look like. Unfortunately, that look is very bleak. And that is so because we don't really control or dominate or have overarching influence in many industries at all. We haven't really found any. And so we looked into the paper goods industry and found it as we were searching through a number of industries. And what we did find was during the Great Recession, the industry either maintained or actually grew. And so while businesses were collapsing during that time, the paper goods industry grew. And in fact, there weren't many people of African descent in that industry anywhere in the world from the distribution or the manufacturing standpoint. So we began to enter the business. We now actually produce our own bathroom tissue, Freedom brand bathroom tissue. That is highly significant. You all should applaud that because when we started it, there wasn't anyone producing bathroom tissue. And what we also should know that there's only a handful of Black manufacturers. And then when we get to a certain point, we seem to disappear. So I don't know what kind of time I had, but I won't get into all of that. So what we do.
We already
Yes, sir.
You got to get other entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. So briefly, in concluding that, I'll say this. 10 years later, Freedom Paper Company services five major industries. Five major industries. We have over 15,000 products. So everything in paper for your home or your business, we sell it and we have it.
Where can we get it?
We have a warehouse right at 2930 Washington Boulevard, so we can provide pickup service there. Our office phone number is 855-496-8458. We, of course, can deliver through the, we're using UPS today. So we can deliver that way at www.freedompapercompany.com.
But I want you to put those in the comments on the right side here.
Absolutely. And lastly, we can deliver to your home with a purchase of $100 or more, home businesses or whatever, free of charge.
Okay. Marsha Jews, welcome to the show. Happy New Year to you, love.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Marsha, you know, normally I would have started off with prayer, but you weren't here.
Well, I was trying to be here. You sent me the wrong link. So I was sitting in the backstage in another location waiting on you. So
You were in the wrong city. Marsha, come on, bless this show with prayer. You know we gotta keep God first. Let's get back on track.
All right.
If that's okay with the panel, is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
Thank God.
Whew, so let us decrease and you increase, Lord. And thank you. We want to thank you, Lord, for allowing us to make it into this new year, 2021, Lord. Thank you for us to still be standing. Please grace us with your mercy. Looking at all of the people who have succumbed to this disease, Lord, please cover their families and give them peace, Lord. Please allow us all to pay attention to what we're supposed to be doing and to hear your voice and your voice only. We want to thank you for this opportunity and for this platform. We want to talk to you about how we need your intervention to help these businesses to grow and make certain that all of these employees and owners are covered, Lord. We need your help and your intervention and your mercy. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. We have Kendrick with us, because I know he's right.
There he is. He's coming.
I'm here.
Oh, well, where's your face?
Yeah, where's your face, Ken? We don't see you.
We see your logo. It's very nice.
Kendrick?
Can you see your face?
Kendrick.
I see my face on my end. You don't see my face on your end?
No, sir. No, sir.
You need to
I
move
also saw
over.
Lindsay Peel come in. It's Lindsay. I saw Lindsay come in.
You need to move over a little bit. You're moving in the wrong
Lindsay
direction.
needs to show her face too, Miss Deborah. We got a logo. We don't do logos. We do live people. Okay, so Veronica, you are on time. What's happening with your business? Tell us about it. Veronica?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. It's sort of breaking up. Good morning and Happy New Year to
Good
everyone.
morning.
I have an insurance agency. I've been in business for a long time, probably since 1989, various businesses. I've been in the insurance business since 94 and had an independent agency since 2000.
Wonderful.
So pretty extensive that way. My background is I'm local in terms of having been educated here in the city, and I've been involved with our local businesses as well as federal government contracts. We have employed our people over time. I'm very involved with activities in our community, and we just reach out to other businesses in terms of support. We support your personal business as well as your commercial business, and we've been here for a good long time. Grady Wright and Associates. We're currently now located in Glen Burnie, Maryland. We were in Baltimore City for several years, and we're part of the community and we'll be here for a while. That's our plan. That's our goal. And we look to work together with other local businesses.
Veronica, why are you a member of the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber?
Did I say Deborah twist my arm, or did I?
That sounds like Deborah.
Tell the truth.
No, actually, the benefits. I think the organization is worthwhile and necessary. We need each other to grow, and there has to be a nucleus, I believe, to put us together in that environment. And I think Deborah's leadership has been very good to do that. And so, she's brought in quite a few businesses and people in the community, and I've seen it grow over time. So it is important, it's essential, and it's worthwhile.
Mm-hmm. What would you say would be the top 3 things that are priorities for you, Deborah, that you would like to be able to make happen for your membership?
Well, the first one at the top of my list is for businesses to understand or to develop their infrastructure and position themselves to compete in the marketplace. And that has been, that's always been our focus. But when the pandemic hit, we kind of really saw the true picture of where our non-strengths are in terms of being positioned to compete in the marketplace. So we want to develop strategic partnerships and programs that help our businesses be better positioned through bringing in the right resources and partners, to help them understand and to grow their infrastructure. My second, and they're all tied in, the other priority would be to help our businesses understand that being employers, economic empowerment means employing people in our community, or just being employers, and how that helps to empower our communities through employment. Many small businesses get in business for different reasons, and oftentimes
I thought we get into business to make a profit.
Well, they make a profit, exactly, but you
and
can't.
Some people try to make a difference, but you got to make a profit, because otherwise you're out of business. Hold tight for that, Deborah. We want to pull in this young lady, Lindsay Peel. Hi, Lindsay. Unmute yourself.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year.
Good. Can you keep your phone situated, stationary, not touch it? So
yes,
tell
sir.
us.
Does that work?
Yeah, because we see all of the movement.
Absolutely. So
Tell us about your
business,
business,
Hill, and I have yes, sir. So Kingdom Vision Consulting is a boutique financial consulting firm specifically for entrepreneurs. We help the everyday entrepreneur, early stage and season, really be able to develop financial strategies to catapult their business. My particular firm was actually born out of COVID. So I'm a former business banker, and throughout this entire pandemic, I saw the amount of Black businesses specifically who struggled to obtain government funding, who struggled to create and rely on their banking partners, if they had any banking partners. All I need in the industry, specifically for business consultants who can help entrepreneurs connect with their financial institutions. So a big part of what Kingdom Vision Consulting does is we make sure that all of our entrepreneurs have every active member on their financial dream team, whether that's your accountant or
I gotta stop you. It's not a good connection.
No
it's not a good connection. Marsha.
Yes.
So it's a brand new year. We're gonna try Kendrick. Kendrick doesn't have his picture up there. I'm not really sure. Kendrick, are you there?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
here. I'm streaming to 3 different places though, so I want them to see y'all. So
Oh, I didn't know.
So
we
when I
thought
press-
you were on this show.
He is.
No, I'm on this show, but I wanted the people to see what we were doing.
But we
here.
don't see you.
You can't see me? I
see
see myself. I'm looking at the logo.
I see you.
Can
I
anybody
see
else
you
see
right
me?
there. I see you, honey, and you got your little microphone. I see
Correct.
all that. Okay,
Johnny,
go ahead, Kendrick. What were you
interrupt.
saying?
Well, hello everybody. It's an honor to be here. Happy New Year. The year is 2021, and that means 2020 WON because it was a harsh year. So 2021 means 2021. It won. So let's move forward. I'm excited about the chamber. I've been serving as the president for some time now, and it's been amazing to see how the organization pivot in this pandemic so we could transition using technology. So I'm excited about our partnerships that came on board that just with the Black Lives Matter movement. It seemed that everybody wanted to help organizations. And so, like I heard Ms. Veronica say, we are a hub for Black businesses. And so we're excited to impact legislation. So we're always looking forward to get involved with anything that impacts policy that can increase your bottom line or change your bottom line in a positive direction. We always say, let's remove the word networking and replace it with relationship building, because once we build relationships, we trust each other. And once we trust each other, we do business with each other. And I believe I've done business with everyone on this panel right here. I'm not sure why my thing looks like it's freezing, but I hope you can always still hear me that I'm excited of 2021 and how the chamber is bringing resources together to help our constituents that are nonprofits. So us coming together, we may not have time to feed the homeless, but we have a chamber member that does that, and we can send resources to that chamber member. So
Kendrick.
Yep.
Kendrick, one of the big, and let me just, because this is a burning issue for me as a boutique business, right? How do you get past all of the foolishness that we have to go through within these major financial institutions and get some serious funding collectively for our organizations to be able to undergird what they have? We're sitting here talking about Freedom Paper. That's a huge thing. Hopefully he has a connection with some institution where he has a line of credit and he can do all the things that he needs to do. What are the institutions that are here in this city that give us what they would give a BG&E and what they would give to other major corporation here in this town? We need access to capital, and we need to be able to deal with all of the things that are coming out of Washington and getting funding and making certain that all of our employees are taken care of as well.
Great question, Marsha. And I'm awarded the privilege to sit on about 10 boards. So I learn a lot from just in the nonprofit space. And one of the things I've learned, the two businesses that hit the $1 trillion mark were Apple and Amazon. And the way they did that was their membership or that membership business model. Now, I've been a part of the auto ship for Freedom Paper for at least 2 years now. And so I think that Freedom Paper is the perfect example of what we should be getting behind as African Americans to support a business to get them to the $1 billion mark so that they can have a trickle down effect of supporting all the other organizations. We still have to take care of us. And so financial institutions are looking to make money off us. And so when they see that we don't have our financials in place, let's go simpler than that. I'm an engineer. I like equations. Let's just put it in an equation. M plus M plus M equals M. Your money is equal to these three things: your message plus your movement plus your methodology. Whatever business you're in, you have some type of message. You get supporters, you have a little movement. But sometimes as African Americans, we fail to do the methodology. And your methodology includes your systems that you have in place, your CRM system, how you're tracking clients, your accounting system, bookkeeping, all of the systems that keep your business running at a excellent package that you could take to a financial institution for them to just hand you over resources, because there are companies that have that system, that methodology that's in place. And many times African American businesses have a great message, they have a great movement, but because that methodology is not in place, they actually get sucked into another methodology,
Right.
and then they get their ideas stolen from them. And so we have to protect ourselves. So to me, the question is, as a Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce, we want to be the vessel where resources are found to protect yourself. Resources are found to get your financials in place. Resources are found so you can get your MBE status, so you can take advantage of these opportunities that are there, but you may not know that if you are still doing a hustle, or you have a business, as they say, not business, a business. And so we got to be sharp on what we're doing as small businesses. And that's why I always say that teamwork, it makes the dream work, and each of us need all of us. And I'm just excited to be a part of a great organization, and to have a part of all of the mentors and the mentees that we all surround each other.
So, Kendrick, do you bring all of these resources into your organization? So do you have like a time when you have mentors coming in to speak to your organization, or do you have an opportunity where maybe somebody in the financial institution can come in and help your members get their books set up properly, and help them develop all of the paperwork? Or partner, is a Paul Taylor really similar in the Baltimore City, but is a Paul Taylor and his organization, are they very helpful in doing all the paperwork and the things that we need? Are those partnerships part of your programming?
We actually foster all partnerships, and I'll digress after this for Madam Chair. We actually are a constituent-based model. So when our surveys are filled out by our members and they say, we need this, we need accounting, or we need help with low budget marketing, whatever that survey says, our membership committee gets that and then sends it to our program committee, which sets up the next meeting. So every month, first Wednesday of the month from 6 to 8:30, we'll bring in those resources based on what our constituents need. And so all of the things you named and all of the partners that you named all have a slot throughout the year in that 12-month radius. Thank you. I'm going to digress for Madam Chair.
Well, I think you kept it up very well. And we do have such partnerships, and that is the focus when we talk about strategic partnerships. Right now, we're working with the Greater Baltimore Urban League. We're working with Baltimore Business Lending. We're working with various partners to help strengthen those methodologies. I like the M and M. We're gonna.
Well, tell us about the Urban League partnership. That's the Greater Baltimore Urban League part of the
Greater Baltimore Urban League. Yeah.
And their focus has always been the economic empowerment of the community. What's that relationship look like?
Actually, the relationship grew out of the relationship with Raymond Haysbert, because he served as the, with the Greater Baltimore Urban League, and that relationship between the Chamber and the Urban League has been a natural, has been part of our mainstream. So we collaborate at the grassroots level with small businesses. We work together to bring technical assistance to the city of Baltimore City. When we got some resources through the mayor's office for technical assistance, and to provide to bring the resources, financial resources to small business during COVID. Although we got the smaller share of it, we were able to reach out to those businesses and assist them in applying. And it was through the Urban League that provided some of the hands-on services. As that's just an example of how we work together on those surveys. And Baltimore Business Lending is a member and also a partner. So they provide on a small scale to financial services to Baltimore City. But we are growing those relationships, and we're growing our infrastructure in working with partners and joint ventures with other organizations. So
let's give Lindsay a chance. Lindsay, how are you?
Just unmute your microphone, Lindsay. Thank you. You just muted it back. Unmute it, unmute it, unmute it. Okay,
There she go.
Can you all hear me now?
yes.
Awesome. So I guess we'll try this one more time. Good morning. Happy New Year, everyone. Can you all hear me clearly?
So far.
So did you all get an opportunity to hear a little bit about what Kingdom Vision Consulting does?
Please tell us.
Yeah,
Just
so we
talk.
are a boutique small business consulting firm. So we work with early stage and seasoned entrepreneurs in ensuring that they have a solid financial structure to be able to focus on the larger things in business, like bringing in new employees, creating that company culture, expanding their market, and finding new clients. However, I found that a lot of clients with small business owners, if you don't necessarily have that support system who could do the things that you might not specialize in, a lot of times you just won't have as much of a well-rounded business as you really need to create a foundation for growth. Throughout the pandemic, I was working as a business banker, and I just saw the number of businesses who were unable to gain government funding, who just did not have their paperwork in order, who did not have strategic banking partnerships. They did not have representatives who could advocate for them on behalf of the bank. And there were just a number of challenges that a lot of businesses of color faced that I noticed that other businesses did not, which really led me to do something a little bit differently for my community. And another thing that really adds a special touch to the work that we do is that I have those strategic banking partnerships. So I have relations with business bankers all across the market from different institutions. I have those relationships with our CDFIs, these are our community development financial institutions, who help our small businesses gain that access to capital when they cannot get traditional funding. I have those
Let me
partnerships to
get
make
a
sure.
question in.
Yes, sir.
How did y'all help people get funding through COVID? Anybody?
Well,
As the chamber, I'm sorry.
Did you help anybody get funding through COVID?
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
Tell
Yes.
us. Veronica,
Absolutely.
you got a story?
My story was calling the banks, using our relationship with the bank. Obviously, we've been around a while, so we clearly have the relationships with banks, and we were able to get some grant money. We had aversion funding money and the opportunity for the EIDL loans as well. But again, you collaborate with your business partners to discuss what opportunities are out there, and we share. That's one of the things that I find the chamber provides is, again, that hub that allows us to pull on the resources necessary. And when someone knows something that someone else may not know, there's an opportunity to share to a larger number of us. And that's what we did. I mean, it's like I talk to my clients as well as my colleagues and say, there's money out there to be had.
Right.
This is what you do.
Exactly.
And so that's sort of where we were. And so we were fortunate in that respect.
Mr. Muhammad, what was your experience through
And
COVID?
may I add something? I'm sorry.
Sure.
So one thing that the chamber also did was
See, Lizzie,
in the
it's a
membership
bad
community,
connection.
we made.
I don't know, Marsha, are you hearing it?
Yeah, she's going in and out. You're
You're going in and out. It's a challenge hearing you.
Is this a little bit better?
It's not you, it's the device, I would imagine.
It's the
Okay.
internet connection wherever you are, it's not stable.
Oh, okay.
So let's shift to
I'll
Mr.
try
Muhammad.
to-
What was your experience, Mr. Muhammad?
Well, in terms of getting funding from PPP funds and this sort of thing, we were able to do something early on due to a relationship with our banking institution. We do bank with a black bank, which is Industrial Bank out of Washington, D.C. But I think this in general, I go back to the roots of the chamber, the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber of Commerce. And the current leadership, who I talk to both quite often, I think are very capable and able to take the chamber forward in 2021 to the position of strength. And what I mean by that is, with everything we talk about as Black businesses and all the things we know we should do, our paperwork, our accounting, and even more so, let's say the technical aspects of things that Brother Kendrick talked about today that we have to be more attuned to as business people. The old-fashioned things of organization and structural power and inroads are still very necessary. And so when we look at other communities, we look at their business organizations and we see how they gain power and access through their business organizations. I like what Brother Kendrick said in regard to the model of consensus of the membership, gaining the insight of the membership's desires and wants. That's a key, and is actually a principle that is related to our culture. So when as we strengthen this organization, the chamber, it should and will be able to go out and do greater things for us. One of the things we learned recently during the Maryland Black Caucus, because Kendrick and I were in a panel together, and there was a senator there, I don't remember his name at the moment, but one of the questions or one of the topics we talked about was the assurance now that we really go back to where affirmative action begun. That we're not talking about, quote, minority. No, we're talking about Black people. And we're talking about the necessity of ensuring that our community, especially in this area, in this region, we again, I didn't know, but I learned that this caucus in this area is the second largest caucus in the country. There's no possible way that we can't get here the necessity of pinpointed funds for Black businesses. And the senator said they were working on a bill.
There should be some way.
Well, the senator said they were working on a bill.
So,
All right. So now the question becomes, how do we get the bill passed? Well, the answer is it's us.
yes.
It's the pressure that we're going to put on those elected officials to ensure that they pass such a bill. And it would seem to me that we have the enough in terms of the numbers of people that would support such a thing. But it won't happen unless we use the power of this organization and our power through it to make it happen. So that's the kind of things that need to take place in 2021.
That's a great point. So when you think about the state of Maryland, let me just get this in here. And we got some feedback in there. You have Prince George's County just down the road. Now in the state of Maryland, if you're going to win the state election, you got to win Baltimore, Prince George's County, Montgomery County. Baltimore is majority Black, Prince George's is majority Black. So my question to you, the Black Chamber of Baltimore, is do you have a relationship with the Black Chamber of Prince George's County? Because the two of you together makes you even stronger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, to answer that question, there is collaboration with Prince George's County, and but we're working on the relationship. But there is collaboration from the standpoint of sharing information and communicating with one another. We do have a strong relationship with the Black Caucus, which covers, that the state of Maryland. But back to the point of, I think it was Sister Martha Jude who asked about what do we need and how do we feel the need for businesses in our city and our region. So the chamber represents Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County, Howard County, and Harford County. And that was the way that the Greater Baltimore was established, because in 2006, we didn't have all the chambers that we have today. But advocacy and legislative advocacy is how we do that. So that brings it full circle in terms of what would, what will make that great impact today. Mm-hmm. And engagement. in our businesses. That is that's continues to be a challenge because a lot of small businesses, you know, we have to learn that we have to, you know, come out of our shell and kind of be willing to be vulnerable in order
Yep.
to learn and grow. And so, you know, that's a unique challenge. So we're unique, so we understand, you know, what those matters are, and so we're trying to design our services. We're conducting a survey right now with the Baltimore Urban League to help prepare for the next round of funding. You know, so our first effort, like I said, we were very intentional. We had in May, we had a webinar through the U.S. Small Business Administration and the White House Business Council to make sure that the businesses knew what was there, the money that was there, and how to get it. And so that was our very intentional about getting it out there, and that just let us know those who were in position got a little piece of it. And so we continue to work and improve. Last thing I want to say is about economic empowerment, and I heard community a lot. So it all comes down to being able to impact our businesses through having a stronger presence economically in our communities. So that's the whole big picture, and it's a lot. There are a lot of moving parts.
Right.
There are a lot of moving parts. So we need people to know about the chamber, and we thank you, Donnie, for this opportunity, because we need help getting, God has got it. That's all I can say.
Right. Right. That's what I have a question for you though. So, how many members do you actually have in the organization?
Pre-COVID or post-COVID?
Okay. Whichever one you want to tell us.
Okay. So, we have 100 members now, because we have a little over 100, because we have not dropped. A lot of our members have dropped, but we continue to carry them.
Mm-hmm.
We have close to 100 active members that were actually that are active. So we're still counting those members that we've lost, because we continue to reach out.
So here's a question for you. And I don't know your infrastructure setup, whether or not it's a 501c3 or some other kind of nonprofit kind of organization as a member organization, and whether or not there are grants available to help build the infrastructure to.
Yes. So we're currently a 501c6.
Okay.
We have our application in for our 501c3, and it's kind of caught in
right.
The
COVID.
The dysfunction of the Internal Revenue Service right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have fiscal sponsors. We have fiscal sponsors that allow us, that work with us. So we are building and positioning for those grants.
Okay.
So yes.
And so I guess what I'm trying to get to, because I look at some of these other major companies that get an influx of money that's not necessarily from the federal or the local government, but there are some nonprofits that are, supporting some of these mid-sized businesses. And I'm just wondering whether a Weinberg or an Able or something, that there's some kind of program that you all might be able to partner to develop to make certain.
We received a small grant from the a $10,000 grant for COVID to provide technical assistance. So that is our first foundation, although it came through the Baltimore Development Corporation that kind of orchestrated that. So we are a community resource partner, and those funds did come through. I forget which foundation it was. I shouldn't forget it, but it was indirectly. But that opens a door where so we're in that space, and we're growing from there. We're also attracting corporate members.
That's smart.
yes, we're attracting corporate members who will feed that infrastructure, and also provide support and insight, to our other members. So, we get up every morning and, say our prayers and say, God, direct our steps. And
Right.
Kendrick, tell me about COVID and the funding for members.
Got it. So we had a partnership with MMG, and they had got $5 million for small businesses. So we put out that information for businesses to take on that. Of course, we work with the Small Business Administration. So we had.
Well, Kendrick, how did it work out? Did anybody get some of that $5 million?
I wasn't selected, so we didn't get the results back on the $5 million from MMG. So I don't. They said they spent it all and they got funding again.
MMG.
That's
Meridian Management Group, right?
Stanley
Tucker and his partner that does the accountant that partners with us at the chamber.
Tim Smoot.
Tim Smoot. Thank you so much.
so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then
Donna Stevenson chimed in online, said that she did get some of that money.
Who did?
Who did?
Donna Stevenson, Early Morning Software.
Excellent.
Great.
Excellent.
Tell me more, Kendrick. And you also got another chamber I didn't mention down in Southern Maryland, Miss Doris.
Yep, Doris Hunter. She's a beast. We love her.
A beast?
Yeah,
So
she don't
what
play.
type of company does she have?
She's a very powerful leader in Southern Maryland.
Absolutely.
Be not mistaken, also politically. But go ahead, Kendrick.
Also, we have a partnership with the Small Business Administration, so we put the word out for the COVID release loans as well. I know I received about $30K from that one, and I think
praise the Lord. You got to pay that back.
So yes, it's still a payback loan. With the interest rate was only 2%, and it doesn't start for a whole 12 months. And so that put us in, we just launched a product, so that put us in a position to market our product for my business, 5-Star Enterprise.
Mm-hmm. So Keller also did receive PPP funding. We also received grants, and received grants to support us through this effect. And it was pretty well. We received $30,000 in grant money that we don't have to return.
Wonderful.
So there's another entity, the U.S. Black Chamber. Are you affiliated with Ron Busby's U.S. Black Chamber in D.C.?
Of course.
We are. We absolutely are. It is another moving part, but they're a great partner.
Mm-hmm. And then there was about 4 years ago a new Maryland Black Chamber formed, correct?
Yes, that chamber was. That's actually how we established our relationship with the U.S. Black Chamber, because the Maryland Chamber, reached out to the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber, and then we all, kind of, organized and collaborated under the U.S. Black Chamber. The leadership with the Maryland Black Chamber has changed, so that personal relationship, I think we have to reestablish, but the connection is there.
Mr. Muhammad, how do we move forward? What can the community do to support the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber?
Well, first of all, we have to be members and we have to help financially. We also have to, and I'm speaking to myself first, we have to participate in its activities. And so, again, there's some particular things that I'm interested in. And I'm definitely looking to work with both Kendrick and Deborah and all of the members and boards and so forth that are developing there, so that we can do the work that's necessary to move this thing forward. It really has great potential and possibility, in my viewpoint, to do things that are uncanny. I'll put it that way. Because we can't keep doing what we've always done to be in the same position that we end up in. And I think that they both possess forward thinking that gives the chamber ability to do what's necessary this year.
What would you guys like to see out of the city of Baltimore moving forward in 2021?
I'd like to see an effort to clean it up. and to employ people to clean it up and to work with the local businesses to employ people to clean up the city. That's just a pet peeve that I have with.
Well, I was thinking more of the board of estimates. You got a black mayor, a black city council president, a black comptroller. Every Wednesday down at the board of estimates, contracts are doled out. And so I'm not sure who mentioned it earlier, but at what point do we parlay our black majority? I think it was you, Mr. Muhammad. Where do we parlay our black majority status into black majority contracts?
But don't people have to be certified with the city in order to be able to bid on some of those contracts? So is that infrastructure together to be able to be certified to then be able to stand there? Now, it's important for the community to be in those conversations at the Board of Estimates meetings and to do before you get to the meeting is when you have to do the lobbying to make certain that people even understand what your agenda is that are on that committee. So if you get that before you even get there and know what's going to be on the agenda and start working it that way, and if we create the support system to make that happen, now we're talking about a movement of people and requirements that people have to deal with.
Well, I'm going to say something that people may not agree with. I have never wasted 5 minutes of my time trying to get certified with MBE. What I've spent my time doing is trying to get to know the people who make the decisions to say, hey, give him a contract. But that's my experience.
Both
have
are
you
important.
benefited from MBE?
Yes, both are important.
Yes.
So,
Both are,
well,
you
if I
know.
can speak on that.
Less than 10.
Yes.
When we had the ombudsman come in from the governor's office of minority affairs, I know they changed the name since then. The ombudsman said it this way, and I'll share it with you. He said that with our advocacy, because one, you have lobbyists that are getting paid to sway decisions. So we advocates do the same work as lobbyists. I learned that from our legislative committee. And so when we advocate, we still got to understand that it takes us all to know our elected officials. We have to value who we represent, who represents us in whatever decision there is. And the way he said it was because a law was stated that 30% of all prime contracts have to go through a minority business. Therefore, if you're not certified, you're not even satisfying that quota. So if you could be the best at whatever you do, but if I'm an organization that needs to satisfy this quota, I'm going to go with the company that's going to help satisfy the quota, not the company that's the best at what they do. And so when I heard that reminded me that if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And I wanted to share that statement that I wanted to share.
Ooh,
Thank you.
not at the table, you're on the menu.
Mhm.
That's very interesting.
If I may, Kendrick and I have had this conversation, and hopefully we will continue it and moving forward. But in that which he just stated, let us understand that the certification processes and the whole idea of it is somewhat of a game.
Right.
That's okay. But then if we're gonna do that, let's play the game. So let's look at
And
how
it's not always fair.
No, it's not fair. But let's look at how certification is done. Let us understand that there are certification bodies. And then let us ask ourselves how we position ourselves to be one of those. Because if we're in fact going to play this game, let us play it from the position of power. We have I think it's called the National Organization or the Chamber of Women, the Women's Chamber of Commerce. I'm saying this name wrong, but it's an organization, the national organization specifically that has certification power for women. Then there is the Diversity Council that has certification power, and then there is state, local, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to look at this whole certification process. I'm saying we, the chamber, and begin to decide how we get in to take a power position to utilize certification as an advantage.
Right.
It's supposed to be an advantage for us.
That's right.
It has not necessarily worked out that way.
Right. Do you have a lobbyist that is part of your team?
Not yet.
Kendrick.
Kendrick's the lobbyist. Kendrick, you the
No,
lobbyist?
I'm no, not at all, not at all. I'm an
But
advocate.
that's a
I do the work.
That's a real
Lobbyists
big
get
deal.
paid. Lobbyists get paid. Advocates do it for free from their heart. So I'm an advocate. I don't get paid to sway a decision from our elected officials. So the difference, the work is the same. Lobbyists do the work, and we've had two lobbyists. One still living right now. Stefan has been helping with some things that with our legislative committee, and then before that we had, oh my God, he passed away with a brain out. Help me, Deborah. Reverend Otis Cutler, and so Otis was our lobbyist previously before he passed away, and so there are some things that we can come in right in on date with letters as advocates. If you can't make it to Annapolis or downtown Baltimore or wherever you want to advocate for, you can still write letters and ordain them with letters. When they see stacks of letters for a particular issue, it still matters. And so in our motto, we say it's the power, the strength in numbers, and power is in unity. So when Donnie asked one word that he wanted to see from Baltimore, I always say unity, because I want to see the baby boomers talking to the millennials, because the millennials have energy and the baby boomers have experience and the wisdom that they need to know, so they don't make the same either or go down the same roads where you found some challenges.
Right.
To me, it's a win-win situation. Why isn't this community organization talking to this community organization? And I'll digress with this quote. Dr. George Frazier says, when 1 and 1 comes together to collaborate, 1 + 1 only makes 2. However, when 1 and 1 comes together to cooperate, 1 and 1 actually makes 11. And so that's
Kendrick,
basically.
are we getting any of those MBE contracts? That's the question.
Okay. Well,
So our meeting is actually next week. So if we want to come in next week, we have Sean Stinnett, whose job is to make sure certain quotas are hit. So Sean Stinnett will be our guest speaker next week, first Wednesday of actually in 2 days, right? Or a couple of days next week. What's the date for that? First Wednesday of this.
Wednesday the 6th.
Thank you, Veronica. The 6th, we'll have Sean Stinnett. He'll be able to give you direct facts of what those numbers are looking like, because he's the advocate on the inside, trying to make sure that these quotas are actually being hit and beyond. I think 29% is too low. I think if we could get it up to 50%, where we're leveling the playing field, we got to remember African.
But Kendrick, the reality is we're only getting 2% of the contracts. Let me just add this from Donna Stevenson. Let me just add this from Donna Stevenson. She said, number one, she's heard that some of the PPP funds will not require repayment if under 150,000. She also said that no, you need to be qualified, not certified. MBE certification is a bonus. And then she asked, what is the Black Chamber's agenda for 2021?
How long do we have to answer that question?
Take your time.
Go ahead, Kendrick.
Well, the question is, what is the Black Chamber's agenda for 2021?
What is she talking about, legislative agenda, or what? Can she be more specific?
What do y'all plan to do this year? What is your plan for this year, generally speaking?
Yeah, generally speaking, our focus is always in the theme is strength in numbers and power and unity. So one, we want to make sure we can all advocate for legislation that needs to be in place that can help businesses grow. We all need to advocate against any legislation that we see coming up that's going to hurt African-American businesses. Two, we want to remove the word networking, because we want to do business with each other. So we got to build trust. We got to build a relationship with each other. And so that Chamber is a hub, and continually to be the hub for we to pour in resources into you while you build your relationships, so you can trust each other, so then you can build capacity. Only 2% of businesses that have more than one employee in the whole country that look like us. So we wanted, our agenda has been steadfast the same, where we impact legislation in a positive way, or defend legislation that's going to impact us in a negative way. We're going to bring people together, pour resources into them. While that's happening, they're going to build relationships with each other so they can do business with each other. And then third, some of our constituents are nonprofits. All of us have businesses full time, so that we don't have time to feed the homeless or do some of the philanthropic things that we would like to do. So as a chamber, we support our constituents that are nonprofits, that have a mission-driven model that we can all impact in a positive way. That's been the theme of the chamber for as long as I've known it.
So we want to, and we want to make sure that we're bringing in all of the, the right tools and the right resources that are needed. And so we are conducting surveys right now to find out more about what the needs are, so that we are, intentionally and strategically developing programs that we can run through our 501c3. So our primary focus is, to get that 501c3 and bring in the programs and services that the small businesses tell us that we need, so that we can help to build those methodologies that will strengthen it. So there's we got to meet it from the top down to the bottom up. And again, there are a lot of moving parts, but there's the broad and then there's the tactical pieces. So
Do you have full-time support staff?
and that is another goal. Thank you. We have to recognize, so that is thank you for that question. In order to meet the goals and the mission of this organization, we have to grow as an organization that can do that. So we have to look at our own infrastructure. And as we're helping our businesses, we are doing that. So the 501c3 will be our instrument to actually become an organization with a building, with a staff. We currently have administrative support. And we, so we're moving in the direction to have a staff that can meet the day-to-day needs of this organization.
Veronica, what does 2021 look like for you, Veronica?
So I don't look so haggard.
Me, it looks like maintain, really. I've been in the business a while, so I may be running on the other side of the hill, guys. So I'd like to let me just say, so this is what Kendra just said, though, is whatever I can share in terms of my years of experience to help others would be the most for me. Of course, I always want to grow business and be profitable, so let's just keep that in mind. But
so give us a tip for 2021. What advice would you give other businesses for 2021, Veronica?
My advice basically would be to continue to seek opportunities with people who are in positions, and to understand how legislation works for you, and be involved. You have to be involved. If you're not a part of the meal, if you're part of the meal, you're not at the table. So get a seat at the table and put your thoughts out there, so that what your needs are, others will be aware of, and you can get a piece of the pie. That's really what it takes. You have to be involved.
Mr. Muhammad, 2021, your forecast.
Well, I want to take Sister Veronica's statement a bit further and say this is the year that if we can't get at the table, then we create our own table. If we look at what's going on both nationally and internationally, some may know that Africa just has embarked upon the African Free Trade Zone, for example. And so all over the planet, our people are beginning to wake up and begin to know ourselves. We need to redress our thinking. We've been taught, I was taught as a business person, to go after a slice of the pie. But really, we should control the pie. You mentioned the demographics here in the city of Baltimore being roughly 60% Black. Why are we chasing crumbs? We should be owning the pie. So right here, we have to rethink the way we do things, our approach to things, and not just look for a position to get in, but to get in and then manage and or control.
Do you think that we understand how to leverage our power? If we do have the majority of the elected officials, shouldn't it be a no-brainer that these Black elected officials would be advocating for our Black businesses? I mean, what are we missing? What are we missing?
We're gonna go to church here in a minute.
We're missing power dynamics. And so one of the things, for example, that we do know is that for an elected official, it takes money to run campaigns. It takes money to stay in office. If we're not the ones, and let me say our organizations as well, I won't name the organizations at the moment, but any of our entities, our political force, our nonprofit forces, if they are being mostly funded by sources outside of our community, they will bow to those forces. We have to be the ones funding our liberation, our freedom, our seat at the table. We have to be the ones behind that. If we don't do that, then nobody even respects us, to be frank. So,
But they don't respect us now.
well, then that's why. Nobody listen, as nice and kind as any of us may be here, if we see a man or a woman on the corner every single day begging for something, and we offer them ways to get what they want, and they never do it, we'll stop giving. Now, I'm just saying that we need to take a firmer position and look at our power. We do have a robust position. We need to seize that position.
Absolutely.
I think it's really interesting that, and it's always fascinated me. I'm not from Baltimore, but that Baltimore had such a large Black population had really intrigued me enough to stay here, right? And to come back. But we don't take advantage of who we are and all of the intellect and all of the intestinal fortitude. We work separately in all these different pockets.
Right.
But the day that we start talking about being in a collective environment and using a voice that can help us do what we need to do, we can't work in all these different little corners, but nobody's talking together. I feel like we almost need to take and do a retreat with all the Black businesses and all the Black organizations, and we need to go off somewhere, lock down, and come up with a strategic plan and set it forth to this new administration. Because at the end of the day, we still having the same conversation we had 20 years ago. I moved here in 1980 something. And I'm still having the same conversation that we had back then when I was at the Afro. And so how do we move that? How do we move our agenda? We've got all these brilliant voices. You know, back then in the day, they talk about the Goon Squad, but we also talk about the President's Roundtable at that time. And so Brenda Goldburn Smith was running it at the time, and I had an opportunity to be at that table because I was working with her. These people were sitting, they were Ken Wilson, who ran all of the harbor, all that inner harbor, what do you call it, where the boat slips, all the boat slips down at the inner harbor. You had Ray Hager, took over then with Park Sausage. You had all these people, Osborne Payne and Harlow Fullwood, and all these people who were but they sat at the table together with these different organizations, these different corporations, and then they brought in people from outside to sit down, and they demanded what we wanted and needed. And so surely there were some people who were over there at City Hall that had to be talked to, that had to understand what their commitment needed to be to our businesses.
Let me just add this in there, Marsha. When you talk about City Hall, and I hear Kendrick talking about advocacy, when I think of advocacy, I think of Bob Clay.
Right.
I think of people who
right.
put their life, they literally put their life
out. Right.
on the line. Bob Clay was killed in the city of Baltimore, if you ask me, because he was advocating for Black business. So this is life or death, not just
it's not
for
a
us individually, but for our city. If we can't get a piece of the pie, again, when you think of a Bob Clay being killed in this city,
and we know it was real,
and this city said he committed suicide, a Black man with a pocket full of money.
No, he ain't going nowhere.
When they tell you that Sean Suter committed suicide.
Not true.
We got to understand this is life and death, and some people don't want us here. They can build up Port Covington. They can build up Fells Point. Therefore, from Mondawmin. But we are dying. And there's some people that don't want us in the city of Baltimore, no matter who your Black elected officials are. I'm not that confident in them.
And Port Covington is its own city for real. They have the whole infrastructure. They are spending far more than they're letting go publicly because
And
that's
all
their
of our city
infrastructure.
council supported them. The entire city council supported Port Covington. And
That's a
now
whole nother conversation that
It really
makes me crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
But
real.
one thing I do encourage, and that's the Greater Baltimore Black Chamber, the Prince George's Black Chamber, the Maryland Black Chamber, the Southern Maryland Black Chamber coming together. Whether it's going away, whatever, offline, we need each other. And in 2022, there's a governor's election, and all of these people are going to come and tell us what they're going to do for us. There's a lady that came on this show, Brooke Learman. She's running for comptroller. And we hit her with the questions. What are you going to do for Black business? We don't want people to come by singing Kumbaya.
Well, that's what they're going to do, but it's all business in what they do.
No, we want business.
They're going to say it. They always say it. They've been saying it since I've been here, and they've been saying it everywhere else I've been. And they're going to keep on saying it until you hold their feet to the fire and make them do it. You got a comptroller down there right now that's been doing and saying the same thing. He's going to run for governor. Come on, give me a break. And hasn't done a daggone thing to do anything for anybody anywhere. He's still talking loud and saying nothing.
Hey Teo, they got the Senate president retired, Mike Miller. Now, for years, he bullied those Black elected officials in Prince George's County. He's gone now. We got a new Speaker of the House, Mike Bush. He passed, so now you got Adrian Jones so we got prominent Baltimoreans and some Blacks in key positions. And we
have to strengthen our elected officials' capacity and resolve to stand firm under pressure. What you just said is true. Listen, business is warfare. Business is warfare, maybe, possibly without guns, right? Possibly, right? So if we understand that, then we need to handle our situation appropriately. So we need to give our elected officials the strength to stand up for us. So when pressure of whatever sort comes upon them, they can readily push back on that pressure because they know they have the necessary support to do their job. They need to be accountable to us, not accountable to others, but to us if we are the ones who put them in place. And that has not necessarily been how the political scene has been handled. Again, when you make strong businesses, I think it was Kendrick say earlier, when you have strong businesses, if Freedom Paper, listen, I'll say it this way. Everyone on this call uses bathroom tissue, right?
Right.
I gotta have $100 worth to buy your bathroom.
You can order online for $30. Kendrick gets a package every month for $30. He doesn't have to worry about it. He doesn't have to go to the store. Comes automatically.
Is it soft? Is it soft? Is it thick? Is it soft?
It's meat. Well, okay. So bathroom tissue is on a spectrum. Let's say from cotton.
I know. Yes.
I need soft. I need soft.
Yeah.
I understand. Listen, let me quickly say this. There's 1,000 different bathroom tissues on the market. There's 1,000 different bathroom tissues on the market. They're made by roughly 3 or 4 companies. We're a small company compared to Kimberly-Clark, Procter & Gamble, or Georgia Pacific, obviously, right?
Other products.
But we make a medium-grade tissue that 80% of the people who use it like it. Now, if you don't like our bathroom tissue, you can buy our paper towels, our trash can liner, our toothpaste that doesn't have poisonous chemicals, our laundry detergent that doesn't have poisonous chemicals, our fabric softener. So what I'm saying is there are things that you use in your home and everyone else that you can get. If you don't like one thing, you can get the other. Now, once we do that, we, Freedom Paper, and others can parlay money so that lobbyist that we're talking about, we could pay for that lobbyist being there.
Okay, so is this retail? So you have a whole retail arm?
Yes, we do retail and wholesale, yes.
Okay, so give us your information again because I think you put it in the chat.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I would love to buy products from you, but I need it soft and thick.
There are other
Okay,
products.
Marsha. Okay, Marsha, we got you.
No, but that's real.
Marsha.
We need,
We heard you the first time.
I'm getting ready to say something else. I know I'm going to say it again, and I can keep on saying it. Tell them what you're going to tell them what you told them, tell them again. What I'd really like for you to do is send me an ad for the Greater Baltimore
Black Chamber of
Black
Commerce.
Chamber. And so I can put that in my newsletter that's going to go out. And in that, put that in there and a link to your location. And Mr. Freedom Paper, you can do the same thing and put in there about how it's retail. Because when you I think of it as wholesale, but so that people get that there's a whole retail arm and what they can do. Sometimes you got to tell people because they see a big building and they don't know that you have that capacity, right?
So,
Okay. Kendrick, any final thoughts before we close out?
Sure. I just wanted to introduce my business and give you my one word for the city. I believe we talked about one word to describe. We said unity, but it was another question I wanted to address. I wanted to just talk about the product we launched. It's called Math Through Music. Does this come up when I do this? Okay, Math Through Music. Yep, we finally, first in the country, we launched a product that teaches young people how to DJ using 5th grade through 9th grade math.
Oh,
So you get a duffel bag. I was gonna try to show it to you, but it's different look on StreamYard. See if y'all can see this. So it comes like this. So if you're on this stream, you know any educators, please take my contact, linktr.ee is my link tree /DJ 5-star. It comes with a curriculum teaching you how to DJ using 5th grade through 9th grade math. It's first in the country. We partnered with an organization out of Canada. The Canadian federal government did a 5-year study. It doubled math scores there. So it comes with the curriculum, comes with a laptop with all your software, all your hardware, embedded videos to teach you the curriculum so I don't have to be there, your DJ controller, videos to tell you what's in the bag, everything that you need. And we pivoted in this pandemic with virtual solutions. So we provide graphics and audio scores for organizations. We have the Iconic Conference coming up with the Black CEO. I'm excited about that. And of course, me and Mr. Muhammad was on the panel for the Maryland Black Caucus, where the Chamber was one of the sponsors. And so my one word is really just unity. Just as that unity is the biggest thing for me. I want to close generational gaps, close cultural gaps. And the last message is the answer to who ain't gotta be you. The answer to who ain't gotta be you. Only 2% of businesses in the country have more than one employee. So we want businesses to scale up so that they don't have to work in their business, they're working on their business. Sometimes business leaders miss opportunities because they don't have the staff to run their business, so they can step away to get to that decision maker that you were talking about, Donnie, that can give them that contract. So the chamber is the hub that you come to, you build relationships, you earn trust, so you can do business with each other, so you can scale up, hire more people, and now you can work on your business and not in your business. So that one phrase is the answer to who ain't gotta be you. The finish line of entrepreneurship is not to create a job for yourself. It's to hit the finish line. Doesn't mean you stop, but that means you don't have to oversee your business because you put all the methodology in place, you have all the right people in place, you have the right systems in place so that you can work on your business and not in your business. Thank you for that minute, Donnie.
thank you, Kendrick.
Marsha Hughes, has been a heck of a show.
It's been
First lady here.
wonderful. I'm excited. I'm excited about what you all are doing, and thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us and bringing us up to speed. And your position there is really important, and we would hope that your membership grows. And however we can help in that manner, we would love to be able to continue our conversation and maybe have some sort of regular conversation with your organization and some of your members.
yes. And can I just say one final thing, Donnie, for half a second? And if you're a small business and you need some of those services that Kendra just mentioned, please reach out to Keller Professional Services. We do provide human resource and management support to those small businesses to help you with that.
Great.
And that would be it.
Good deal. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for the first day of the new year. We pray that Almighty God blesses each and every one on this call, bless our Black businesses, and also bless us to do our homework, tighten up where we need to tighten up, and put pressure on the elected officials. If you're trying to reach your city council people, we'll say it again, or anybody in city government, call 410-396-3100. Everybody should know that number. That's how you reach your council person, city council president, mayor, comptroller, 396-3100. Down in Annapolis, main number, 410-841-3000. 410-841-3000. Every state district has one state senator, 3 delegates, and a state central committee. Know those people. Know their phone numbers. Know their cell numbers. Know their email address. Stay on them. It's not enough just to vote for the same elected officials over and over.
Right.
You have to apply pressure to them. You have to know where their girlfriend lives at, what strip club they go to, what restaurant they go to. Find them, stay on them, tell them what you need. My name's Donnie Glover. Up to date, down tomorrow. Do your day. I was joking about the strip club.
Lord have mercy.
Kinda.
You know you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Kinda. I'm up here in the strip club. Up to date, down tomorrow. Do your day and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. I got to do it. Regardless of how I feel. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Good morning, Baltimore.
Good morning, Baltimore.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.